I think that on the utopian side, I mean, I see that too. I think it would be amazing if, we didn't, not only did we not have to work 70 hours or 40 hours a week, we didn't work at all because everything's so automated between robots and AI and machine, everything's working so smoothly. We don't even need to work, we can just exist. But then from an AI point of view, why? Most of my output is just an experiment. People think I'm doing things because I'm so sure about it working. I haven't even considered that much of my attention span to whether it's going to work or not. I'm just testing the market with lots of different experiments until some stick. When I hear a good signal back, I do more of that.
Our relationship with technology is evolving rapidly. As AI is changing businesses and reshape our world, what does the future hold? Welcome everyone to another episode of AI Business Transformation. I'm Michael Coppola, and today I'm excited to have Leroy Lawrence, CEO of Pidgey. Leroy, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's really a pleasure to explore your journey through growing different businesses. And please make sure to stay until then so we can reveal how Leroy has built multiple businesses. It's going to reveal different successful strategy to build the businesses from the grounds up. So, Leroy, do you want to give us a bit more of insight on what is inspire you to build Pidgey?
Sure. Well, I guess the best way to really find passion in any kind of business is to have a real deep need to fix something. I often joke that I was just a disgruntled customer, ultimately really frustrated with what I could do when it came to international shipping. As a tourist, as a traveller, I used to fly about 70 to 80 times a year to different parts of the world, from Asia to Africa to around Europe as well. And I'd often find myself in stores wanting to buy something that I couldn't fit in my suitcase, too big, too fragile, but was really unique, that I thought would look great at home in my kitchen or my living room. And it just happened to me one time too many, and before I knew it, being a disgruntled customer had taken me down this rabbit hole into starting a whole new business and ultimately learning a lot about logistics from the outside and now from the inside.
That's really interesting. Can you explain us a little bit more in details how the application works?
Sure. So initially I wanted to fix the problem of if I'm in a offline physical tangible store, I want to be able to treat it like an e-commerce store, which is common to me. Treat it like an Amazon or an Etsy and just pay for the products that I want and have them shipped home. Since then, we've changed a little bit because we had to make it suitable for the merchant to understand from their perspective as more of a B2B process. But ultimately, it allows a merchant to be able to capture and convert more customers. Every single day, they speak to customers who say, look, I would buy that, but no chance of getting this thing home. The merchant will say, don't worry, I'm going to call DHL or UPS or whoever it is, have it shipped home for you. But they don't convert that many of those customers because from their point of view, you're a stranger, you're in another part of the world. How are they going to trust that A, you're getting the best shipping quote, B, you're not going to just put the product back on the shelf and forget about it, and that they are going to, get their product back when they spend money on it. So I wanted to fix those trust issues. And so with the application, now a merchant will just arrange the order on the app. They'll get an instant quote from it will compare all of the different shipping options, different shipping carriers, give them the best quote. They'll say to you, look, Michael, we can send this for you right now. It's going to cost you $80 to send it back to America, wherever it is. You're happy with that? Fine. You just tap their phone to do an Apple or Google Pay contactless payment with them. On your phone, it will give you the details just to confirm your address and that kind of information. Double tap pay. You know that the payment is completely protected. We act as a bit of a custodian, so the merchant can't withdraw the money until they've handed it over to one of our shipping partners. And also, if you want to buy some more when you go home, you can buy some more from that person as well. And you can do all of that as a customer without even downloading the app. Just the merchant needs to have the app. You can download it later if you like. But you can also use it as maybe you're a visiting tourist somewhere and you want to discover where are the best shopping areas. You can just download the app, click on the map, and it will show you where all the Pidgey registered shops are in that area. There's lots of other tidbits you can do with it, but that's the main use of it.
And what is the biggest challenge you have faced by building this system? I guess there are many challenges why creating this sort of application in many different sites. So what was the biggest challenges? How did you solve it?
Logistics is actually, I think everyone knows really, logistics is really complicated when it comes down to it. But one of the reasons why it's so complicated is because there are so little universal protocols between different carriers and between different systems. And it's not by accident, it's by design. Those who are the biggest companies want to have as much control as possible. And if they work in a system where it's all very universal, it takes the power away from them. So we had to figure out the best way that we could actually convene that. Initially, it was quite slow to be able to build these APIs and these systems and build these relationships with shipping companies. All they really care is that you're giving them more volume, which is fair enough. So we need to make sure that on one hand, we're speeding up how quickly we can integrate these carriers, we're discovering suitable carriers, and we're also creating volume for them to make it worthwhile for them. So that was one issue we had to really figure out. We have really figured that out now with some of the steps we've made. And then also understanding our customer and our merchant. Ultimately, Pidgey is B2B to C. So we really understood the customer early. We understood what the customer wanted, where their breakdown points were, what their trust issues were, how they wanted to operate. But that didn't necessarily translate into how a merchant thought about things. Merchants have other worries, other concerns, and may not be as tech savvy as an end customer as well. And so we had to use technology like with AI to make it as simple as possible for these merchants. We stopped trying to dazzle them with fancy kind of tech ideas and just focus on making it as simple as possible for them and as comfortable as possible for them. So we actually had about 4,500 points of feedback from merchants, which made life a lot easier when it came to us making a product that they're able to use day in, day out.
That's incredible. And what in the journey are you at this stage? Are you in a seed stage? Have you already shipped the product? What are some metrics that define your state at the moment?
So I'd say we're at C stage. We're a bootstrapped business, really. We've got a limited amount of investors. We've come a very long way. We've built a team of 400 salespeople around the world who work in remote areas for Pidgey. We have about maybe 9 to 12 people, come or take, who actually work directly for Pidgey as well. We are approaching hopefully about 3,000 transactions a month at the moment and growing as well. We're really still focused on this tourist vertical, but we have about 60 other verticals in which we can operate in with the technology that we've built as well. So, we try not to get too excited and carried away when we start to see lots of transactions come in from this one particular market, because we know the long-term vision we have is actually building something that every carrier in the world knows that they need to be on the Pidgey platform if they want to capture shipments easily and quickly to build their own business up.
Oh, incredible. And what's the next stage for you, for PG?
Well, we're at that point now where we could either kind of raise a big round of a few $1 million, or we could just continue to kind of bootstrap and go see how we go. We'll just take it as it comes in regards to that. We've got some really, I don't want to give away too much, we've got some really interesting tech in our pipeline that are really going to boost our production of how automated our systems are. We're always trying to make everything automated as possible. I would say that over the next few months, when we complete a lot of those processes that we've got, the speed in which we can integrate new shipping partners and also shipping partners who aren't very tech savvy themselves, we can really improve their tech stack through us as well. and also hit other verticals when it comes to acquiring customers. So we're really, really excited about lots of those things that are happening right now. And I think our revenue will really fly off the handle as we continue to automate those systems. And that's why, as I said, when it comes to the investor side, it's not kind of make or break whether or not we take on new investors. If we do, great. If we don't, it doesn't really matter so much. I think we're really kind of approaching that critical mass point over the next 3 to 6 months now.
And talking about, you said that you are integrating AI and automation. What are you exactly leveraging AI both on the product side and also on the process side? As AI business transformation is really focused on understanding what's really changing with the use of AI, how it's changing business to operate. What do you think? Have you seen differences in 2025 between the last decade of how businesses were operating?
When you create processes, it's difficult to create complicated, febrile processes, but obviously you can do that with AI. So the first point of call when it came to our big push on AI was the interaction between the user or the merchant and the application. As I was saying earlier on, they find, the merchants that we have anyway, they find technology very difficult to use, not even so good at using a smartphone, let alone worrying about more complicated issues. So with the AI, with the Pidgey AI app now, you're able to just talk, have conversational AI, so you can just talk to the app and say, look, I want to send this product, it's this size from here to there, and it will break it down. All of the pertinent information that it needs from you, it will take from you to make sure that what you're sending is going to make it through customs as well. Sometimes these merchants get sweaty palms when they are given too many technical things to worry about, and they hate having have customs send products back to them as well. It's really frustrating for them. So, when you use Pidgey, you'll always get through customs, because in the background we're creating all of the commercial invoices, all that relevant information that customers want. It's been done for you in the background with us. We like to keep things to appear extremely simple though on the front. We don't want you to be overwhelmed with complicated things. So that conversational AI is one thing. Being able to verbally speak to it and not just type to it. It will talk back to you normally. In the background, we've been using AI and machine learning for dynamic pricing to make the pricing more relevant for the individual. So therefore, there's more chance of them converting into an actual paying customer. And we've been using it for computer vision as well, with how we list products and how we try and make sure that our measurements and dimensions are entered easily and in adequately as well.
That's really exciting. And have you also mentioned on the process side?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to make sure I don't give away too much information, to be honest with you. But
What we can say?
yeah, I mean, so in the background, we have lots of really, really cool things going on. And so we everything's built around this CRM that we've built from scratch, and it has about 40 years worth of experience in it, thanks to some of the new team members that we have when it comes to logistics in the back of it. But we use AI machine learning to make the inputs from a customer, go through all these complicated things that come out very simply at the other end, basically. But I think for anyone who works in logistics to see behind what we're doing, they would find it fascinating right now. But I am trying to limit a little bit. Normally I'm really open for everything, but we're doing some really cool stuff now with it. But yeah, it has been really important though to how we're operating. I know lots of people in logistics talk about AI and what they're doing with it now and whether it's really going to help them. It will do. It's going to completely change the game with those who have the right vision to figure out how it's going to do so.
Have you also integrated some AI agents into the process? Are you building this kind of system to automate?
Yeah, so that initial communication you have that a merchant has is with an AI agent. We also use AI agents for support in the background and for when it comes to acquiring leads and data management. Our sales, as I said, we have about 400 salespeople, so the right leads and the right support requests, the right data will be sent to the right person who's active at that moment and knows the right information based on their profile. So yeah, we use AI for that kind of internal process as well as the front-facing element as well.
So what gain have you seen from the integration of this system using AI in the last couple of years? If you would quantify in, percentage gain or hours saved, what would be, how would you quantify?
I'd love to give you some data on that. I haven't quite got that just yet because we've just only released this AI version in the last month or so. So I can't give any hard facts on that right now. But we do know that we are seeing repeat custom, which we weren't seeing before it was an AI system. So people are finding it easier. We can see all their conversations to an extent, not the data they put in, but their general kind of basic conversations. So we know that they are finding it much easier to use. Data that's come back to me, like I said, it's only been a month now since the new apps come out.
And how have you seen the relationship change between humans and AI?
I think part of AI is because it's new, it's fun as well. And I think when you build anything with AI, you have to consider, are people going to enjoy using it? And you've got this kind of quirky trend at the moment about it. And, so same for you, probably go on the ChatGPT, you create some images, you have a bit of fun, and therefore you like it. And we try and make sure that the personality that exists within our AI is something you want to speak to. There'll be other features coming in as well. Trying to make it fun to predict your customs and taxes is a little bit of a challenge sometimes, but I'm a fun person. I like to have a laugh, so I like to make sure that is part of the personality that we operate within this business as well.
That's really interesting. I think is definitely a big part of it, right? Yeah, making sure we do business, but also having also good time and yeah, implementing that while using AI is a great point. I would definitely consider that point of view because yeah, is I think is so important and probably will make a huge difference if all these AI system they have a bit of a more yeah funny approach sometimes to yeah have that will make difference for people working with it and also for the customer service side as well.
Yeah, I think that's really. I think it can be easily overlooked, that part of it, when you operate a big company. Sometimes you're trying to make everything seem corporate. Like, we are human beings. We like to enjoy our lives. We for the first time you can have used to have a form, and a form was boring. But now you can interact with an AI agent and it be fun whilst you're doing it. It can be entertaining. So I find it important to make sure you do that. And also, because we operate in 117 different countries, you have to also make it relevant to their culture in that region. And we do that by making sure that we pay attention to all the feedback and interactions we get in those different languages. And Pidgey you can use in any language pretty much. And we like to make sure that we pay attention to the culture and what is funny and what is entertaining, what is useful, how people speak in those areas, to make sure that it's not just someone in London who finds it fun to use, but someone who's in El Salvador want to use as well.
Yeah, I guess that is probably the most challenging part, right? Yeah, because as you said, for us could be easy. We know we maybe yeah is we have the same set of cultural joke. Yeah, is something similar, but yeah, for someone yeah in another part of the world it doesn't work, right? It's not funny. They could even find the yeah awkward. So yeah, that's probably the most challenging part as well. And are you solving it through, you said feedback, right?
Yeah, so that's one of the good things about our remote sales team. They're hired because they are local to that region. They know the people there. They're able to get really good feedback points from those merchants that I might turn up somewhere, in like Nairobi or in Bali, and I might not know the culture there. And what I'm told as a foreigner visiting might not be the same as if they're speaking to me in Swahili or they're speaking to me in like Bahasa Indonesian. So having so many salespeople be able to speak kind of casually and culturally to people means that we do pick up so much more data points. Whether it's more formally through like written feedback or whether it's verbally, and then our salespeople entering that information into our CRM as well. It makes life a lot easier for us to keep on moving as we need to make sure we're satisfying their needs.
And how, in this transition where we are integrating much more AI into businesses, what are the main skills and mindset that team has to change?
If I'm understanding you correctly, well, before we tried too much, I think, to change the way that our users work, I tried to just throw something at them in the way that I want it to work, and that wasn't really the best way of doing things. So we did have to kind of spin that around a bit and just work on their feedback and work on what's without changing too much what they're used to. People, I mean, you can say to like an entrepreneur like me, you can say you should have challenges, you shouldn't be comfortable. That's my place I exist in. But for the normal person, they like to be comfortable. They like to do what they're used to, even if it's not always the most efficient way. So we have had to kind of not just meet them in the middle, meet them 90% on where they sit. To be honest with you, to make it work for them, and then as they get used to our systems, maybe drag them away bit by bit into how we think it might be more efficient. But we do these things at a good pace because everyone on our team is extremely passionate. They might not have grown up from school thinking I'm going to be passionate about logistics or AI because no one probably did, but they're passionate about the change that we're bringing, the way that we're affecting, especially in emerging markets, people's careers, people's opportunities. There isn't really a reason now to not be making money and have a job as long as companies like Pidgey exist, where you can just go online, do our course, go out in your local environment, set up as a salesperson or a shipping agent or a personal shopper with the Pidgey app and just start making money. So we're about making that change to people's lives, and therefore people want to come and work for us because they realise how important that is. They want to be part of that journey, and in fact the logistics part of it is a bit secondary to that play. But also we don't hire people unless they're very, very passionate about what they're doing, and that filters through to all of our customers and all of our merchants as well.
Talking about your experience, you have been working from bootstrap startup to more taking public companies. Can you tell us a challenge, one particularly challenging venture that you have been working on that nearly get broke, if that happened to you, and how did you survive that period?
One of the most frustrating things with founders is just how slow things can be sometimes. If you're the type of person who, like me, wakes up every single day and just hits the road running, so you want to get things done, it can be frustrating when things aren't moving as quickly, or you're not getting a response, or you're hearing kind of silly responses to things. It does get a bit frustrating sometimes, but you just need to just kind of keep your head on your shoulders, really. Go for a run, take a breather, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, keep checking the market, that the market's still there that you're looking to enter into. Keep making sure that you're relevant, your business is relevant. At some point, every single business dies. That's one thing, that's the reality of it. It doesn't matter if you run a bank, anything you do, every business will die at some point. Hopefully, if you're very lucky, it won't die during your career. But if it does, you just have to suck it up and get over it, really. Take your lessons and move on. I know people in this kind of startup industry say you should fail quick and move on, but that's also just some fantastical advice, I think, really. You should just, as long as you keep checking that the market is there, your passion is there, your reason for doing it is there, you're growing in the right direction, you keep doing it. People are always trying to find an excuse to quit, and they quit too early. Instead of really making things work. And I've been involved in some businesses which have made money overnight, like tens of thousands within the day sometimes. And I've been in businesses which have taken years to make money. There's no kind of like perfect way of doing it. You get people with other interests, like professional investors or VCs, who they want you to fail quick because they want to write it off quickly, or they want to get their returns quickly and sell it quick. So they've got their own interest. But for you, if you're an entrepreneur, a founder, this is your life, this is your career, you and your team. You've got to figure out how are we going to make the maximum amount of value for this business and those connected to it, and how are we going to, and that needs to be your only real focus with that business. And so, yeah, as long as you keep kind of checking in with yourself, I think you should be fine. But I'm not into people just being founder tourists and jumping onto the next bandwagon all the time.
And what do you think is the single most important skills or feature that a founder has to have in 2025?
Probably a bit mad, I'd say. It's not something you'd really encourage someone to do with their time. Just go and get a job, is what I'd say. Be a lot happier. You have to be a bit mad. You have to be extremely thick-skinned, and it's a difficult balance and act. On one hand, you have to be kind of humble enough and learned enough to want to keep learning as much as humanly possible. You should always look back to where you were last year and think that guy was an idiot. That's how you should be looking every year. If you look back to what you were doing last year and think that guy he knew everything then, you know everything now, you've learnt nothing at all. So you need to be in that kind of mindset for one. But also, you can't, every time someone gives you some advice or information, you can't consider it to be gospel either, because we're all speaking from our own place of experience, existing and purpose, and you'll get tons and tons of bad advice all the time, and you've got to filter it out and try to pick up the ones which are good for you. Ultimately, the market decides. Either you were distracted by a bit of advice and you just went around in circles, or you picked out the good bits of advice and you propelled at the right time. But you're going to pay the price ultimately. You're going to pay the price because you've been paying with your time, you've been paying with your money. So it's a high risk endeavour to do, and that's why I said you have to be a bit mad in the first place. Life would be a lot easier if you did just get a normal job and make average income. But ultimately, for a lot of founders, you're doing it because you see that you can bring outweighted amount of value to you, your team, and to other people in society as well.
And have you ever built multiple businesses at the same time? Do you think there is saying a lot around entrepreneurship? The focus is really a key point while building a business. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's possible to build multiple businesses at the same time?
It's very difficult. You've only got so many hours in a day. It's very difficult. And in reality, your passion's only going to be with one. I'm involved in different businesses, but this is my business where I wake up and go to sleep and think about this one every day. I don't mind saying that. The other businesses I have, they've made money, they've done well, and they're still ticking on doing well as well. But we have team members in place running those businesses who are more passionate about it than I am. Yeah, you can only have so much passion to go around, and you do need to focus. But you can have other businesses on the go. You could have a shop, have a big business, small business, but you're only going to be really passionate about one at that time. You shouldn't be. I think you shouldn't be hedging. You shouldn't be running two businesses because you're hedging. One's going to make it, one isn't. You have two businesses, multiple businesses, because the other ones are already product market fit. They're already doing what they're supposed to do. Only one of them can be in that challenge to find that market fit at the same time, I'd say.
What if both they are gaining traction?
If you're very lucky and both of them are gaining traction, you're probably going to need to put someone else in place, and one of them would have thought to take up the slack. Even if it's someone lower down the chain, but you're going to need to put people to fill in, because I'm up to silly times in the morning sometimes as well doing stuff, because I just can't sleep with things I want to get done. But I then can't be 100% at 8 a.m. the next morning unless I've got someone else covering the slack. And if you're going to run a business anyway, you need to be able to delegate. It's a high risk for you and everyone else who invests in you if you don't delegate. It's important to be able to delegate anyways. Yeah, as long as you can delegate, then it's fine.
And one validation step that founders should check with real customer demand. I think there are too many, probably many startups that they fail even before shipping the product. They are probably too conceptualizing the product, creating all this amazing product without customer. So, what is one validation step do you think is essential to build a successful business?
I think you should assume that your first product's going to be junk anyway. It almost always is, and don't take it to heart when you figure it out. But have enough kind of humility to accept that it was junk and then change it and move on. People love to say, look, before you even build this product, you build a very basic MVP of it, go out and get lots of data from asking people questions. But even when you do that, it's very difficult to get straight answers from people. There's a massive bias when you get responses, so you can go and do that and still come back with irrelevant, non-helpful answers anyway. You've got to just take the risk. You've got to just put yourself into it, go for it. You're going to be constantly receiving signals on this way up this beanstalk. And if the signals you get are bad, change it. If they're good, keep going in that direction. But you've got to be listening properly. You can't really be stubborn about the information you're receiving. In fact, a good comment you get, I'd probably cut it in half and be a little bit negative on it and still try and improve what they've said, because people don't like to be horrible to strangers anyway, really. So, there's no, you get people who design how to be a founder in a textbook from not really running it themselves, not really being in the trenches. And it seems like a thing you can explain very easily. Well, if you just go out and speak to 100 people and get their information back, but I've done that, and those 100 people, their responses are mostly just not legitimate. To be honest with you, you have to just take that risk. One thing I'd say about business, though, is that almost any business idea can make money. Almost any business idea can make money. You just got to figure out the details in making it work. To be honest with you, there's so many people on this planet. Almost any, you just got to find the market, find a product that works for that market, and you can make it work. So that's why I say I don't like founder tourists who just quit too early. Almost any product can make enough money. Whether it makes enough money that you list on the stock market and they're worth billions, or whether it makes enough money for you to feed your family or to buy a big house is another scenario. But almost any business can.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the challenge is identify the balance between the time and the where is the right time to pivot is really challenging to understand, because maybe you spend a month more and then suddenly many door open. So it's really challenging the balance to give up on an idea or project, because maybe for probably depends really from the kind of job, kind of business that it is, because maybe some business they require really actually just building a build network of customers, speaking to them, knowing them, and maybe after that 2 years your business is going to succeed. For other businesses, maybe as you said, they maybe just succeed after a day or two. So it's really probably understanding.
You need to pivot till you make it or break it ultimately, and just keep pivoting. The other side of that, what we're both saying here, is that people often try and turn entrepreneurialism into some sort of research job, but in the reality, they're just making excuses for inaction. They're procrastinating. You need to be out just doing stuff, just constantly doing. Don't fear about whether it's going to work or not. Just most of my output is just an experiment. People think I'm doing things because I'm so sure about it working. I haven't even considered that much of my attention span to whether it's going to work or not. I'm just testing the market with lots of different experiments until some stick. When I hear a good signal back, I do more of that, which I know is not even an original concept, but that's how it's got to be. But just keep doing, output. You can't just be trying to find this academic way of doing it. It's just not realistic, because no matter how smart you are, the thing that people don't say enough about running or starting a business is that you're just doing enough output until you get lucky, because That's what it is really. You're just trying to catch a bit of luck. And I've had businesses before. Like in a few days, we made like thousands and thousands, millions over the year. And at the time, I felt like, wow, I'm a genius here. I'm so. But in hindsight, I know that actually, I just got lucky to an extent. I
Yeah.
just caught the surf at that particular time, and I rode that wave, and I just got lucky with it. And that's why also I don't get too disheartened when some of the businesses take a long time. Some of them take happen very quickly. You're just trying to catch that wave, but you have to keep putting output into the market to find out what's going to stick and go with that.
Yes, I completely agree. And yeah, I agree. The luck side of it is many times about luck. Yeah, there is people that they maybe have been, trying for years, and yeah, nothing happened. And other people they get lucky early, but sometimes they can be more difficult for them later on because they have been lucky early, so they easily sit on their luck, and then they are
Yeah,
gonna know they don't know that they actually been lucky. But if they, if someone maybe taking a bit longer to get their strike, they maybe understand that you had to work it out and you had to keep working to get that. It doesn't
yeah.
happen all the time. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, if you pour, the hard day adventure, for example, if you pour money into something, sure, it's going to move a lot quicker. It might move a lot quicker in the wrong direction. It might move a lot quicker in the right direction. It's going to move a lot quicker though. When you're moving slowly, so let's say you're a founder, you haven't had that bit of luck yet to put a bit of capital behind you to make it move at any kind of speed. Things are going to move very, very slowly for you. But by luck, you might be going in the right direction anyway. And that's what venture is about to an extent. It's about saying, look, we're going to take a punt on this. We're going to just throw some fuel into this engine and see if it takes off or not for long enough. And like luckily I had exits before, so we had some capital to get. Like we wouldn't have got to this far in a million years if we didn't have capital from other exits before to make it happen. And it's the same for lots of founders who make it much bigger than I ever did, make it really, really big. They have some fuel and they can pull that fuel into really rubbish ideas, to be honest with you, that happen to make a bit of money because they've got funding behind it that no one else could have done because they didn't have the capital at the pool to do so. So, everyone's playing on a different speed. Everyone's playing at a slightly different game, but the game is still the same. Stay in it as long as possible, keep pivoting till you make it or break it, and just kind of know why you're doing it and make sure there's a big enough market that exists for what you're doing that will achieve your size of your outcome that you feel necessary.
Incredible insight. Thank you very much for your sharing your experience. And I want to explore what are your thinking around the next 5 years of AI. What breakthrough do you think that is going to happen, both in businesses? If we want to also mention a bit about what could be the impact of AI on society. I also like to ask this question towards the end of the discussion because it's such a really relevant, important for all of us to understand a bit more about what really this really powerful technology is bringing to society. I just finishing up a book of CEO of Microsoft AI, uh, Suleiman Mustafa, and
Okay.
yeah, and he is. I'm correct, right? Mustafa
Yeah.
Suleiman, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and he is is calling this wave the coming wave, and he is mentioning about, and he is kind of worrying about the impact on society about this coming wave. Is really talking about on way to contain this kind of technology that could really disrupt how we live and how we work. But my question is there is also a lot of benefits that this technology could bring. So where are we adding? This is the big question. There is a really powerful benefit that this technology is bringing, but there is also a big risk that is taken to us. So where we are.
Well, I have a really dystopian expectation for the future of AI. To be honest with you, so I might not be all roses in my outlook for it. I remember in the capital markets building trading algorithms using AI, and no one cared that we were using AI like 10 years ago because there was no everyday general use for it that made it that exciting. Weirdly, now as soon as you can create a funny image, suddenly everyone wants to talk about AI. As soon as we're being entertained, you want to talk about AI. But in reality, one of the biggest areas it's going to help is, aside from automation, it's going to help in healthcare. I expect that it's only a matter of time till we have chips. Doctors are a thing of the past for most general use cases. We have a chip that tells us what we are lacking and what we need. The reason why I'm so dystopian about things like that is because humans are really greedy, and you hear that and oh, that's great, I don't need to go to the doctor anymore because I'm going to have a chip in my arm that tells me if I need extra vitamins or extra care, if I might get this kind of cancer, this kind of support. Whilst you might be thinking that, someone else is thinking, great, if I can just swallow up this market, I can put everyone on a SaaS plan for their own healthcare, and I can say, well, you're going to get this level of care and you're going to get that level of care, and we're going to switch it off if you don't pay for it. I have a much more of a Black Mirror perception on how things are going to go, just because humans are not terribly wonderful people in at least 50% of the cases. So I have a really negative outlook on where AI is going to affect our lives moving forward. I wish it wasn't so, but I'll bet my house on it that it probably is going to go that direction. And so therefore we do need to then think about how we can prevent. We're worrying about AI doing crazy things, but we should be worrying about us doing crazy things with it, really. I think humans are the problem. And so we should, don't get me wrong, people are putting in processes in place to think, how can we make sure that AI doesn't turn into the Terminator or Matrix kind of scenario. But I think there are some really cool things that could be done to prevent it, but I don't think it's going to happen because of greed, and we're just going to do untold damage, I think, with AI, because there's that minority who just want maximum amount of money that they can make. They don't mind sacrificing other human beings in that decision. So yeah, I'm not saying destroy AI, but I don't think it's going to end well. That's what I'll say.
I yeah, understand your point of view, and also is what most of people we are fight. There is someone that has a bit more utopian view, and someone has a bit more dystopian view. I want to try and push myself to see the bright side,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do understand your view, and definitely there are a lot of risk in place. But if you see how we evolve over the last 200 years, yeah, there's been bad actors using technology in bad ways, but we also been able to, you know, reduce mortality rate to, you know, really a minimum. We have created, yeah, the longest uh, living people on Earth because we have a really great healthcare system. Um, so yeah,
I,
there is yeah bad side and good side as well.
I think that on the utopian side, I see that too. I think it would be amazing if, we didn't, not only did we not have to work 70 hours or 40 hours a week, we didn't work at all because everything's so automated between robots and AI and machine, and everything's working so smoothly. We don't even need to work, we can just exist. But then from an AI point of view, why? Why are we even here just sucking up all the resources? We need to get rid of some of us, is probably what's going to come to mind of AI, if not us as well. So then, what does that mean? We start having more children because we've got more time? Do we start having less children, like in most developed countries? Because why would we waste time having children when we just want to have fun instead? There are so many potential outcomes, and pretty extreme ones, good or bad, where it could go. And And I expect in the short term, in our lifetimes, it will move quite progressively in the good directions until it doesn't. That's what I would think. But maybe I have watched too much Black Mirror and read too many dystopian books. That's why the whole thing. I'm going to sign up to be Cypher from Matrix.
That's fantastic. Ma, look, I have a more bright future for you. So what many people are speaking about, I'm telling you what I'm exploring through my journey with AI business transformation, and there are one thing that I'm conscious is that we have a negative biases generally as human beings. So we tend to have this this view. There's a bit more tend to go towards negative. So sometimes we do tend to not see the potential positive side of an outcome. So I do keep that in consideration, considering as well the potential on economic side. There is some futurists they talking about bringing down the cost of goods and services to become really cheap, because with the automation robotics we can access to really cheap labor, digital labor, so we can build services and products that are really cheap. So in 10-20 years time, what your life will cost 50, 80, 100,000 will cost 10,000. So we will go towards a abundance future for everyone, right? So everyone will could have everything, and it seems the direction, if you see the last 20, 50 years, is what seems that actually society is taking us. The living standard that now we have, and more people are seeing that where this is actually taken. And if you think about with this big wave of AI, it could be and actually the direction where we are going. There is, of course, the other side that is, are we everyone gonna have jobs, or we probably there is not gonna be jobs for everyone? How are we gonna, how are we gonna afford that?
Yeah, I mean, it has to. It has to. If we're going to go down that rate in the positive of AI, we have to think post-capitalism and think how we're going to break out and not need to. Why? But a lot of people don't have the imagination to imagine an existence without doing a 9 to 5, which is a shame. But we're just conditioned for our environment. But yeah, a successful AI kind of powered world needs to be post-capitalist, post-working, and we have to find a new reason for existing, really, and for doing what we're and reasons for discovery instead of just making capital. There are lots of people who say they want to pull people out of poverty. There are fewer who actually do want. I think Pidgey is one of these companies who does want to pull people out of poverty wherever they sit. But there are maybe a handful of, I think the word used earlier on was bad actors, who don't care about pulling people out of poverty. They'll actually prefer more people in poverty. They'd prefer the cost of living to increase just so they can hoard and swallow up as much capital as possible at everyone else's expenses. And those bad actors seem to rise to the top very easily in our society because it's a reflection of us and our kind of human personality, unfortunately. To be able to put the processes in place to prevent that, you'd think it'd be easy, but it would be a lot more difficult than we think in trying to make that a reality. In the meantime, we should be considering how improved the human experience is by the reduction of poverty, by the increase of opportunity. I spoke about luck earlier on. Our whole life is luck. Where you're born, where your parents are, all those things are just luck, really. But then we tell ourselves that, oh no, I deserve this. I'm deserving of my experience. When in reality, human beings, unless you're a savant in like in maths or art or music, we're all pretty much the same level of intelligence. There's not much. You can become a lot more intellectual because of the things you've read and the things you've learned, but your core intelligence amongst human beings is pretty much the same. And so there is so much wasted potential on this planet that we're not making the most of, and the systems that we have in place are not beneficial are not suitable. The systems are not suitable to make the most of those people's abilities as well. And the drain of that is because of that tiny minority who want to just benefit and hoard for themselves and not think about humanity as a whole. And AI, like I said, can be used either to make that even more of an issue or to prevent it. But those decisions are going to start being made pretty nowish to have a fighting chance of us not having a dystopian outcome.
Leroy, thank you very much for your insight. It's been incredible conversation. Well, I wanted to have just some quick last questions. The worst advice you ever took?
The worst advice? I had a lot of bad advice, I guess. Someone said that we should, this is not that big of a thing, but someone said we should charge all of our remote sales applicants for doing our courses. We should just see that as a way of making money, which is inverse to what we're trying to accomplish. So we'd never do that. We'd always keep that free because we want them to earn money. It's they make money, we make money, simple as that. So why would we want to charge them? So that's one bit of bad advice someone gave me. And
IPO or stay private?
Depends how much revenue you're doing and how old you are and what you want to do. Where I am right now, IPO. That suits my needs. I run an IPO listed company, a company that IPO'd before, so I know it's not new information to me. I know the journey to do it. I know it can be a bit laborious at times, so I'm not really intimidated by it. So for me personally, IPO. But for others, if you're running a business that's making you $10 million a year, not net positive, then you might just think you're fine as you are, keeping it private.
And one word to describe Silicon Valley investors?
I think there's a lot of one word. I was going to say herd. Herd is the best way. They kind of all follow the leader and herd together, and whoever's had success in the past or has the most money, they kind of go whatever they're doing, which is understandable. You don't want to be the guy that makes a loss that no one else did. You look stupid, so I understand why they do that. But herd mentality is what I'd actually say.
Thank you very much, Leroy. It's been a great conversation. Let me know if you have any final advice for founders or entrepreneurs that you want to share.
Yeah, I would just say don't quit, pivot, staying it long enough to win, and don't worry if you get 1,000 no's, because you're just going to keep on pivoting and adjusting what you're doing till you win. That'd be my advice. Don't quit, just pivot.
Yeah, seems easy to say, but at the end, just a few of, not everyone is willing to go through, the pain that really takes to, build a business, and many rejection without, giving, without caring, just smiling, keep going. Yeah, it is. It is.
Richard, not often I quite Richard Branson, but Richard Branson said that you should, I'm pretty sure it was Richard Branson who said you should feel the same way about success as you do failure. So if you succeed, it's very tempting to get really ecstatic. My whole life is different now. I finally made it. I'm worth something. I'm of value now. But if it starts to go wrong, you're suicidal. So then you need to manage it, that when things are going badly as well, you don't feel so bad about it. You've got to keep a level head on everything you're doing. So just feel the same way about success as you do failure, and you've got much more chance of surviving the journey.
Thank you very much, and looking forward to see how Pidgey is progressing. Maybe we can catch up again in 6 months, a year. We'll be really excited to have you back. So thank you very much again.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Hi there. Welcome to my channel. I'm Michael Coppola. I'm excited to have you here. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Together, let's explore the incredible potential of entrepreneurship, business innovation, and technology to take your ventures to the next level.